this here is the alternator error light, kind of like in your car when if your alternator was to fail, you'd get the charge light come on. That's what this indicates. So when the alternator stops charging, that indicator light turns on to let you know that there's an issue with the alternator. In the video it looks orange, but it's red. This meter here I installed in the box before I put this multimeter in, and well, it's redundant, but it's there. This is to switch on to power on the indicator light, or to switch on its function rather. So as you know, if this light were to stay on, if I let this thing sit for a long time, it'll eventually draw the battery down. So of course I put that on a switch, kind of like the ignition switch on your car. So you turn your switch on without starting the car, the alternator light's going to turn on. This here is just a kill switch for the engine. I'm kind of funny and OCD a little bit, so I could have put a momentary switch here just for shutting the engine off, but didn't really like the way that would look. You know, two covered switches and then a momentary. So you just keep it same, keep it all the same. This here is a power inverter. It's a 2,000 watt power inverter. Runs off the batteries, as you can see. I've got 4 deep cycle 840 cold crank amp deep cycle marine batteries, kind of a hybrid type battery. Not hybrid as in like Toyota Prius, but it's more of a dual purpose battery, marine RV battery. It's pretty solid. It does a good job. I've got them all wired in parallel, so it's a 12 volt battery bank still. If you do the math and kind of do a little bit of research, the research tells me that those are about 110 amp hour batteries. Times 4 would be 440. The debate is there whether or not that's accurate, but yeah, they do well. This is a 12 SI alternator. It's a 100 amp model. I use that to charge the batteries when they get low, or I can run it while I'm using the inverter if I want to, or I can just leave that off, leave the engine and alternator off and run the inverter on the 4 batteries. Of course, it'll shorten the life of the charge of the batteries, but it is an option for me. I built this platform here. If you look at it, it kind of looks like a pallet, but it's actually something I built out of 2x4s and plywood. It's 33 by 33 to allow for the batteries. Of course, the engine, alternator, the control box, and the inverter. Nothing fancy, but you know, it does what it needs to do. I got the bracket from a website, the epicenter.com. They sell a couple of different versions of it. I got the alternator from them as well. The pulley on the engine side came from the epicenter.com. Originally, the alternator had a 2.5 inch pulley on it, but with the 4 inch pulley on the engine side and a 2.5 inch pulley on the alternator side, it spun the alternator way too fast, and it put a lot of strain on the engine if you put any kind of load on it. So I ended up going with a 5 inch underdrive pulley from I can't think of the name of the website, and I've ordered a lot of stuff from them. If I remember, I'll put it in the description of the video here. But with a 5 inch pulley on the alternator and a 4 inch pulley on the engine, it kind of takes some of the strain off of the engine. The alternator spins much slower. It helps to control some of the heat, and you know, the engine can take more of a load. The engine is a Briggs & Stratton Vanguard 6.5 horsepower engine. This was originally on a pressure washer. It's a variable speed engine. I found that it will function and charge below full throttle, but it kind of cuts the efficiency down, and it does put a lot more strain on the engine. So I just run it at full throttle. full throttle being about 3,600 RPMs. It doesn't lug or put any excessive strain on the engine. Of course, if any of you are familiar with alternators or the 10SI or the 12SI alternators, you know how they work. It's a 3-wire alternator. Do your research on that, but it's good for what I'm doing with it. I could have went with something a little more powerful. Originally, when I was coming up with the plans in my head to build this, I wasn't going to run 4 batteries. I was going to run 1 or 2, but I had these batteries lying around. I had used them on a previous solar battery bank, and I just didn't want to see them go to waste. So originally I had 6 of them, but 2 of them went bad, and I ended up going with something different for the solar battery bank. I'm going with a Renogy set. If any of you know what those are, much better than what I was using, at least for solar anyhow. As far as this stuff here, these batteries are more or less designed to be charged by an alternator or something of that nature, so this works out pretty well. I'm getting a little long in the video here. We're a little over 7 minutes now, but if anybody's got any questions or anything, if anybody has any ideas of how I can make this better or more efficient, please comment. Let me know what you think. Got any ideas or any recommendations, any criticism, good or bad, send it my way. I'd be happy to listen, and I'll respond to everything. So thanks for watching.